Welcome to our session with the chefs from Singapore. So we are going to talk now about Fine Food Forward, a chef's discussion on guest experience, professional skills, the future of dining, and resilience. So there are a couple of words that come to mind when you talk to hospitality professionals over the last couple of months, namely pivot, whiplash, roller coaster. So these are certainly certain words that you have probably heard in the industry, and we are very much looking forward to discuss those over the next couple of minutes. So the hospitality industry has always evolved, but maybe never more so than right now. Last year, this time around, we could not have imagined that COVID would have been so pervasive and destructive, as well as challenging for the industry. The assumption among many was that there will be a return to normal, and post-COVID-19, the post-COVID-19 reality will look like we have not had any changes. But will it really be like this? So this is why in the midst of this crisis, there are fresh lessons that we have learned for operators and chefs, as they have stumbled, but also innovated their way to something that is resembling a way forward. So today we're looking at what changed, where do we go from here, and what does it all mean for guests, for professionals, and the industry as a whole. To discuss optimism, resilience, focus, and vision, we invited the Singapore Chef Association to share their views on Fine Food Forward. So the group today is a group of seasoned chefs that does not only represent Singapore's ambition to claim culinary arts glory in the upcoming global competition in Luxembourg, but also individual leaders in their dedicated teams that are working daily in their respective kitchens. So our roundtable today consists of Eric New, who is the executive chef on Intercontinental Singapore, as well as the president of the Singapore Chef Association. Hello to you, Eric. Okay.
Hi, Carl. Thank you. Good to be here.
Welcome. We have KK, who is also executive chef, but for the Sentosa Golf Club. He's also the vice president of Singapore Chef Association and the national team manager for 2022. Hi there, KK.
Hi everyone. Hi, Carl. Thank you for the introduction.
We have Ko Han Jie, who is the head chef of Siswa, which is a new establishment, and also the national team captain for 2022.
Hello. Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thanks. We have Jin Chin, who's joining us again from last year. We did a wonderful cooking demonstration with her young chefs. So she's the sous chef at Constella at SingX, and also the president of the Singapore Junior Chefs Club, so which is a youth wing of the Singapore Chef Association. Hi there.
Hi, Carl. How everyone? Good to be here.
Great. Last but not least, we have Ben Guo, who's executive pastry chef in Guangzhou at the Shangri-La, mainland China, that is, but happens to be also the national team pastry chef. Hello to you.
Hello.
Great.
Hello, nice to meet you. Glad to be here.
To begin the conversation, I'd like to have everybody's opinion on some icebreaker questions. Just to maybe start with Eric. What does fine food mean for you in 3 words?
Okay, since you're starting with me, I will just give you in 3 words what I think about fine food. Fine food to me is actually something unique, delicious, and visually appealing.
Visually appealing.
These 3 words sums up my food for fine food.
We'll get back to that food experience later when we talk about how it has changed during COVID. So let's mix it up a bit. So Ben, what is it for you, fine food? What does that mean for you in 3 words?
Fine food to me is I think is quite common. I think for me is a quite common food, but do it in a fine way. Yeah.
Okay. Jin, I know you're dealing with it every day. In 3 words, how do you describe it?
For me, it's quality, nostalgic, and also gastronomy.
Wonderful. KK.
For me, I think 3 words: cook with passion equals to 5
Cook
food.
with passion. I like it. I like it. That's your philosophy too. And Ko Han-jie, how about you?
I think the rest has already said what I want to say, so it has to be delicious. Delicious is the most important thing. Fine food.
Delicious. Okay, fantastic. Talking about delicious, I think this is something that we're all missing going to any restaurants still in 2021. Many are closed in Singapore, or you can only go with 1 PAX, which is vaccinated. So there is an enormous amount of limitations of what the guest experience, the taste experience, the general experience of fine food is. So it has changed a lot, but we'll probably, I would like to start with Eric, because you've been a chef since you are 16 years old. So giving you a rich history and experience in culinary and catering. So in your opinion, can fine dining function in a low to no touch environment? I mean, looking at service limitations, the dining experience and value propositions, they have dramatically changed. So what should guests expect for the fine food experience in 2022, and can it exist?
So allow me to share on this point. I think fine food could be in a low and no touch environment. Why do I say this? Because if we think back during the pre-COVID times, there is already things like Le Petit Chef that enables you to have a visually experience while you're dining in a fine dining environment. So with 3D projection mapping, theme music, props, and all that ongoing. So even in a pre-pandemic time, there is already something like that, like a Le Petit Chef. So moving forward, if all the restaurants or hotels are ready to embrace technology and have this as part of their dining experience, I think we could then limit the service to a lower touch point, or if not, you could even have like a laptop or even a iPad on the table that allows interaction between the guests when every dish is served. This could be another dining experience, but still giving them the quality food, fine food, but in another unique experience. So that's how I feel could be done if technology has been embraced.
Okay, I think Singapore is quite adaptive in that regard. So they certainly include technology where it's possible, not only because of safety protocols, but also because of being innovative. So, and I think you touched on a couple of ideas here that the industry is changing, the business models are changing, but fine food is changing then as well because of technology. It's forced to change. Is it a good forcing, or is it something that is a natural evolution that improves fine food experience? What do you reckon?
If we think out of the box, if we think from a different angle, I think this is something good. You know, with that change, it's not really forcing you to do that. I mean, when we slowly open up, you can still have your one-to-one personal service touch points, but it's a choice whether you want to do that or you want to embrace technology and give our diners a different experience. I think combining the two, we would be able to create a new dynamic experience for our diners in the coming future.
Right. And I would like to move to KK, because you obviously have experienced that too at your establishment. And the technology has become more and less relevant in daily operations, etc. But how has your kitchen evolved generally, looking over the last 20 months in terms of the improvements with technology, or is it something that you have done previously as well?
Okay, I think from me, the team in my kitchen, I think it's a new norm for us. We changed from the usual pre-COVID, as what Chef Eric Neil has mentioned. One thing that we changed, we used to do a cooking class for the members or guests on live, but now we need to do something like we pre-pack everything. We do a DIY recipe,
Right.
so that we will deliver to the members or public house to do a cooking lesson. So I think this is one of the things that we changed, right?
Right, and it improved definitely the relationship, I guess, as well with your clients, because you're a bit closer despite them being far away. Jinchin, I would like to move to you because you work a lot with young chefs, professionals that are really aspiring to become really great at what they're doing. And so I was wondering, I mean, should hospitality still be their career choice, considering the impact of COVID onto the sector?
For me, is that hospitality and tourism has definitely been hit the hardest in terms of all the levels. While we do hope that things will be back to normal, unfortunately, I feel that the impacts of COVID-19 have already sunk in, and the businesses will have to adapt to the new norm and realign perspectives in order for hospitality to survive. And for us, I think it's imperative that we continue to promote hospitality as a career choice and not just a job, because I feel that there are still many opportunities in this sector.
I think the question would also be what people would like to have as a lifestyle choice. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Important. So what are 3 truths, if you wish, that you would like to tell young aspiring chefs that they should know about this profession?
I think straight cut is that it's very clear cut that it's not an easy industry. Perhaps you have to work 12 hours, 16 hours. For me, actually, I worked last year all year round without any breaks at all. There wasn't any off day due to the community care facility that we have to function. Definitely manpower was also cut down in order to save costs, and it did cause a lot of operational strains. And I feel that these are the hard truths that customers, clients, and all the aspiring young chefs should actually know in order before they want to come into this industry, you know.
Right. I think I would like to move to Ben, because you have a path that brought you to mainland China now. You have the experience in Singapore, being a pastry chef, and then moved to China, which tends to be quite adaptive and swift. And we know that they're back to somewhat of a new normal. So how do you compare your operations, your working, your teamwork as well, between Singapore and China, the work that you've been doing over, I think 1 year, 2 years now that you've been in at Shangri-La?
Yes, I've been in China for 2019. Then after that, when I joined there, when I start to familiar there, unfortunately the pandemic is, I mean, in China I think China is the country to get the first impact. Right. Then after that, we straight away we change the way we work, and we take care hygiene. Actually, we already very take care about the hygiene and sanitizing. But after that, we are more strict in this, and even we need to have sanitize our hand in every 30 minutes. So to ensure everything is very, very hygiene and proper. And also the packaging we serve also different. We serve very different way. And I still remember the time the hotel is no one can enter the hotel. So we're doing then after that we have a budget to achieve the takeaway food for around 500K. So that's why we need to brainstorm all those ideas. And because we use a lot of WeChat in China, so the different thing is we do a lot of promotion, we do a lot of selling in WeChat. Right,
Weixing definitely works, and it's an easy way to sell mooncakes there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Ko Hanjie, you starting at a new venture called Siswar, and but I would like to, before I go into your being a team captain of for 2022, what are some skill sets that you would have not have been expected to be so important during the pandemic and over the last 20 months? What is something that really was striking to you and you thought, I didn't expect that?
I think overall, as being not, I mean, a chef, a perspective from a chef and to like a normal person, I think this skill set that we would definitely need is the ability to adapt, I feel. So because in this pandemic, I feel that we have to adapt to different types of, I mean, for example, the government measures when the dining in rules of 2 packs, 5 packs, and even no dining in rules kicks in. That's where we really have to get used to all these changes and really know how to adapt to this type of environment in order for us to really, I mean, target the type of clientele we are actually targeting, the type of food that we are doing. It all actually matters. So to me, adaptability is the key thing.
It's the key theme. So I mean, you know Singapore's restaurant scene very well. So will dining as we know it return with high or full vaccination rates? What's your take on that?
I think the approach from the government is that as long as the vaccination rate is getting higher, I think slowly it will open up. But as for dining in diners, I along the way I believe that, I mean, health conscious is their top priority. So I think for us cooking in the restaurant, be it in the hotel, I think also serving healthy and yet delicious food is also our main priority now. So.
Right. I think you touched on a couple of very good points, namely to be agile in a team environment and adaptable in an extremely devastatingly changing environment as well. So, and I would like to direct the next question to Eric, namely, it's very clear that kitchens have extremely hard structures, so it's very regimented, right? And so there's a team leader and you follow and you definitely don't jump out of line just in order to get the meals on the table and make sure everything works properly without a problem. Though, would you agree with the statement that hierarchy no longer determines who's a leader and who is not, as COVID emphasized the individual again? So professionals that rose to the occasion and drove value by showing independence, self-efficacy, really become leaders in their own right?
I do not agree. I think that hierarchy in the kitchens still plays a very important part, as in who is the leader, who is the manager, giving the directions for the team to follow and make changes accordingly. But I also have to agree at some point whereby because of manpower has been reduced, there are some positions that need to step up. And then we are able to see and we're able to lead them into leaders of that time. So, which is a good experience for some of these positions who would have taken on the leadership role at a later time, but they are taking it up now during the pandemic, and they have did it well. It also gives us an opportunity to then reassess this person's leadership skills for his future growth.
Right, right. So it's something, this operational agility and transferable skills that we mentioned earlier, that this is very key in order to grow and grow quick and maybe even become part of the Singapore Chef Association who represents Singapore in the World Cup. Anyways, in talking about that, so, and I would like to speak then to the team captain. The Singapore National Culinary International Culinary Competitions, and you seek to build upon that, right? So will preparing for the competition be any different compared to last editions?
I believe it will, because along this whole 2 series of the rulebook that we actually have to cook in the actual competition hall was to cook for 120 covers, so 120 packs capacity. So one more series will be this chef's table where we have to serve like 12 diners, including the judges. So I feel along the way, even though we have come up with like our appetizer, our dishes, the 3 course that we'll be serving on the actual day, we still do really need the full capacity training that we need to get used on, like the chemistry, the teamwork of our whole operation of our team. So to really get the hang out of it, to really work towards this will be a challenge for us during this COVID time, as we are not able to serve that amount of packs along the way.
Right. And KK, for the rest of the team, so how do you train if you can't meet? how is that working? Is it easy to get together and train together, or do you do it all virtual or hybrid? How do you prepare traditionally and versus now?
Pre-COVID, we meet, we train, we discuss, we plan all in one group. But now we have to do it virtually through Zoom or through a smaller group of members around, and we will share among ourselves in the chat group. And hopefully next week or the upcoming months, it get relaxed, the restriction, and we will get back to the norm. And in our pipeline of planning, we have planned everything back to the norm schedule. So it's a challenge, but I think the team will overcome and will again do our best for the upcoming competition. Right.
I think you, over the course of almost decades now that you've been participating, I hope I'm not wrong here, you developed a set of skills, of best practices, and they must also be reevaluated due to COVID. So being it on the one hand side, competing globally or working in the kitchen, the best practices that you've had must have evolved over the last 20 months. So there must have been something that you revisit, something that that implies basically you need to evolve and improve and innovate. And I would like to ask Jinqing there, what are some of the key areas that you saw being evolved in terms of your kitchen practices, your teaching, and maybe also the preparations that you do every day?
Of course, for us, it's due to the manpower, and therefore we need to employ a lot of new technologies. For example, to be able to cook 100 packs, 1,000 meals, that is really one of the challenges that we have faced. Because, for example, we have 3 chefs full-time, and then that is all we have, and we are working with part-timers and interns in order to dish out 1,000 meals every day. That is definitely something that we have changed so far. We have been able to incorporate practices that is able to transcend the time, so that when we are able to pass down all these skills to our part-timers and interns, they are able to function as a full-time chef also. So I think that is also, while we are wearing different hats, I think that is something that has been beneficial to our organization.
Right. So you believe these skills and these innovations, they will stick around even if you are moving into an endemic COVID world. So the same skills will be, or the same procedures will continue.
Yes, definitely. Because I feel that with a lower manpower and I'm able to still dish out that amount of packs of meals, I think technology has become very relevant in our daily kitchen operations. Right.
Okay. I'd like to turn back to Eric, because obviously you have a long history in Singapore, and we talked about the technology, the innovation side here, and also changing the culture of food preparation in the food service sector. So what are, and you touched about it earlier, what are some encouraging examples, if you will, of how F&B outlets have changed their concepts in order to find new sources of revenue, and what novel concepts are born out of COVID and are here to stay?
So during the COVID time, I think lots of restaurants and hotels have come up with different unique concepts to bring in revenue. One of the most important one would be the deliveries that they have put online on the platform. Everybody is doing that. But I would say F&B is also one of the most suffering industry that during this pandemic time. So for some of the restaurants or hotels, we would take this opportunity, first of all, to divide them into two different categories. One category is to send most of our staff for retraining purposes. This will then enable them to pick up new skills. And when the industry reopens and recover, they are enabled with the new skills to move forward and embrace even a better opportunity in future. So just to share some of the initiatives that Chefs Association has came up with, working with Chef at Works Academy, there are about 5 or 6 different courses that we put across for chefs of the industry to pick up. Some of them are the importance of branding, franchising, and licensing. This will allow them to understand all the behind the scenes, fundamentals of digital marketing. Not only cooking in the kitchen, you must understand how to market your products.
Right.
Food service, menu engineering, and basic food stylings are also some of the things that we have encouraged members and chefs to pick up. And very importantly, professional F&B entrepreneurship. This will then allow them from scratch. You will know how and when, if they want to start off a small business.
Right.
So apart from that, in terms of offerings that we have, we would think that some of the restaurants that came up with certain items like cook chill, frozen, that you can have deliveries, keep in your freezers, bring it out and reheat at the comfort of your own home, culinary concept boxes where you can buy and prepare and cook at home easily. So these are the different additional revenues that restaurants and hotels have came up with.
Right.
And it's
right.
very competitive.
Very competitive. Yeah.
Yes.
I think on this word, and going back to mainland China here, talking about Weixing earlier, about the way that social media is emphasizing the sales of products, and maybe social commerce can become even a new revenue stream. So what are some examples, like will it be, how much of a part of the business will it become in your point of view, Ben? This type of selling, this type of reaching new clients to the traditional business that you have currently?
Yeah, this to me, I think this style of advertisement, I think is very important for nowadays, especially after especially during the pandemic time. And also the most important, I think, is when you do the advertisement or everything, you need to mention about how you process the food, and how hygiene need to be very specified in hygiene, to let the guests know you are doing very clean, and all those food is very safe,
Right.
safe to consume. Yeah,
Safe
I think this is a very important part in our WeChat post. Every week we will post in whatever we post, end of the WeChat post, we will do like because in Shangri-La we do have a Shangri-La Care, the program we call it Shangri-La Care, and all those is kind of SOP, how we doing the food, how we clean the table, and how we clean the kitchen as well.
Right, right. So you believe it's like what, 50% of future business?
I think now, because now I think at least because now China, I think China is getting back normal. So from, I think before that, from the 70%, because
right. Okay.
Because in China they are very common for the Waimai. It means takeaway food. I mean delivery food. It's very easy and convenient. During the pandemic time, I think it's around 70%.
Correct.
We even do the Chinese New Year Eve reunion dinner. We pack into the takeaway and ask ask the delivery guy to send over as well.
Right.
During that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Kohanja, and just to follow up, thank you for that, Ben. Just to follow up on this, I mean, social media, social commerce, selling online, the connotation here is not fine food. The connotation is relatively either QSRs or has a different experience altogether. The unboxing, the whatever it is, the delivery, the taste that's afterwards, the last mile delivery might ruin the presentation and whatnot. So, I mean, from your expectation, so will economy brands do better coming out of COVID, moving into a more endemic environment because people have readapted their consumption behavior? Or do you believe that premium high-end F&B outlets are still the way to go moving into 2022 forward?
I think I have to basically give it as like a choice for them, diners. So because during this pandemic, I mean, they got no other choice but to stay safe, stay at home, to get all this very nice packaging food. I mean, to try out all this delicious food at home, get all this delivery. But deep down, I believe that everyone is still longing for like a good customer service reaction. I mean, the whole experience you can have in a restaurant, sitting down. I mean, speaking to your service staff, have the chef coming up to serve you food. I mean, that would be like the end, endemic. So we are hoping, I mean, this will be the things that I think the diners would really want it to be.
Okay. So going back to really normal pre-COVID times, that's your hope and expectation.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Jinjing, you'd work with lots of young chefs. Would you agree there? Do young chefs have the same feeling that social commerce, like social media, e-commerce, would be taken out when it comes to going back to pre-COVID times, and you just go back to a restaurant and you forget about it? Or do you reckon it's here to stay and even grow?
I feel that there's some measures that are definitely here to stay. For example, e-menus, e-ordering, how we are able to just do a contactless payments. All these are digitalization of our new norm right now. And definitely we cannot cook from home as people work from home, right? So we have already diversified to adjust to all the new norms. Yeah, so I feel that some of the measures are definitely here to stay, especially for the new generations. They are so at using all of the different technologies. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what Eric also alluded to. You're not just a chef anymore. You have to also learn about social commerce. You have to learn about marketing, branding, all those things, being a good chef. Eric, what is your take on it? What is it that you should invest in if you want to educate yourself and become really good in a professional manner as being a chef? Is it really sitting on the computer and designing nice Instagrammable photos, or is it the cooking skill that you really have to have?
I think in our career, answering your questions, we spend the past 20 years learning and sharpening up our skills. And the next 5 years, as you climb the corporate ladder, as you are in the top, being an executive chef, as I mentioned earlier, not only you need to have the skill sets, you also need to understand the marketing aspects, as well as the branding, the franchising, or even why you need to post on social media for the wider audience to understand, because this is where their platform is. So we need to change ourselves in order to meet the demands of what the wider audience wants. So continuous education is very important. That's why we always emphasize that even if you are at the very top, you should continue to learn. Even for us, for KK, for KK, even himself now, he works in a country club. He's still learning. He's still multitasking, picking up different portfolios as a VP, also doing his part for Biku's Door, also being the treasurer, also being the national team captain. So in order for him to multitask and carrying a few portfolios, he needs to have that special in him, which I think he could have taken up a course secretly, you know, without telling us. But I really encourage continuous education. So there are some few courses that's available online that you could pick it up, whether it's through the Chef Association or through NTUC, or even through FHA, where you meet different people, and with all that interactions, they may lead you to another business opportunity or learning opportunity.
Right. KK, following up on this one. So you obviously mentioned food is your passion. This is the first that you said, and I think the developmental skills that you need to move out of the pandemic into a successful, you know, post-pandemic career are just alluded by Eric. Has your philosophy changed though, being what you've been doing and looking at COVID the last 20 months? You doing the same thing, or what is it that you work on harder now than before?
I think it's still the same. I have a lot of passion in what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I think for myself, I think even more passion, because from the pandemic, we have seen the business drop, people losing jobs. Then I think I appreciate everything in life even more. The company, the association, people around me. So in short, I even work harder now than before to prepare a better future for everyone when we restart the usual world of what we lived in previously. Yeah.
Right. So you're very looking forward to Luxembourg, I reckon, with your team members.
Yeah. We plan a lot of things. We plan a lot of things. Yeah. So hopefully we can share once I have more confirmation. Right. So I plan for the young chef. The whole national team is a young chef, grooming them to be the leader next time. So a lot of planning ongoing. Yeah.
Right. Okay, and this moment I would also encourage the viewers just to follow the chefs on any social media, since we talk about that, and send in your questions for them for afterwards for the live Q&A. We are running okay with time, but I would like to take the opportunity just to wrap it up relatively quickly, just to make sure we keep it nice and tight. So what are certain things that clients and guests can do still currently to support local chefs and restaurants? And I would like to maybe start with Ben. What is it that people can do in China just to keep supporting you guys? You're muted.
If you ask me, I think cook less ourselves lah. I mean cook less in home lah. Order more takeaway to support all the restaurants.
Right.
To me, this is what I think, because I can feel. I mean, in the China before that, I can feel we need a lot of support. I mean, not only hotel, also restaurant. Yeah, we need a lot of support for this.
Right.
One. Yeah.
Ko Anje, what is your idea how to support the local communities?
I believe restaurant and hotels has really come up with really nice initiative, like very small merchandise, maybe like a home. I mean, they do their own jams, maybe a bread, like a butter spread that they do to really sell out to the guests and customers, like what Ben said. So just cook lesser at home and then really support in buying all these things. It will really help in our industry. Yeah.
Right. Chin.
I think definitely just giving us a shout out, no matter whether you patronize us or what. I think a shout out on your social medias really do help, like hashtag support local. I think Instagram has been doing very well for us also.
Okay. Eric, how about you? I mean, you must have an idea as well.
So I think apart from cooking less and supporting the local restaurants, maybe in order for the diners, for the customers to really be following this, do a weekly schedule, you know, every day which restaurant that you are ordering from. But of course, you should have some economical ones and some high-end ones that you can enjoy with your family over the weekend, and then have some economical ones or even supporting our local hawkers. So that could be inclusive in your whole week of on dinner or lunch orderings.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. KK, last words, last famous words for support.
I think support the locals, hawkers, and the home-based chefs that they do private dining and home bake. I think we share the pie equally. And what Chef Eric said, plan the schedule. Right, I think it's a very good way of doing. And maybe perhaps one day you cook for yourself. The rest of the 6 days you support the locals F&B scenes.
Right. I would also encourage everybody viewing just to get in touch with any of the speakers now and ask them about their menus at their respective venues. So I think you guys put in always something special for Christmas, for before Christmas, for New Year. So go check them out and go eat out more. So on this note, I would like to thank for this conversation with the Singapore Chef Association and the national team. So thank you so much for your time, and we're looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.